Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. It's hard to believe we're rolling into November. Tennessee's sitting at 6-2 on the season. Only got 4 more of these things, man. Only got 4 more games to go in this 2023 regular season. You got to look at where Josh Heupel has brought this football team to where they are right now. And I know in year 3, some of us had high expectations. We had our eyes set on Atlanta. I think this football team, I think this coaching staff also had their eyes set on Atlanta. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, what this football team was when Josh Heupel took over to what they are now, and I know, you still got to finish off recruiting in the class of 24, still got a long way to go there. You got to continue to build this roster, flip this roster, but we have seen a huge change in what this football team was to what it is now, and, we still got a lot to play for. I know a lot of people are still saying, hey, Atlanta's an outside possibility. It is. The odds say that you can get to Atlanta. Do I think Tennessee does that? No, I don't, but I do think they can go out and win every game left on the schedule. When you look at what they have coming up, I think they can win every game, and that includes the Georgia Bulldogs. We're going to take a look at it. Somebody sent me an interesting article. It was kind of fun talking about where Tennessee could end up ultimately if they go 9-3. Could we see a showdown, a bowl game between Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers and Greg Schiano at Rutgers? Man, the media would have a field day with that. I don't know that these players or these coaches care. Maybe Greg Schiano would care just a little bit. But coming up first, we got to go out Saturday. We're going to take on UConn, homecoming game. And yes, it's going to make a lot of you guys mad. It is a glorified scrimmage. I'm going to tell you why coming up in just a second. But as always, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, free, and easy. It does help this channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you here. We talk with you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We'll be live later tonight, every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about this Connecticut game. We're going to give our official predictions. Make sure you are here for that. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about it again. Glorified scrimmage. Boogie, not again. We're going to do this again, Boogie. You're going to call it a glorified scrimmage. Did you already forget? Did you already forget about the Austin Peay game? Josh Heupel talks a lot about growth and development. Actually, first, let's just take a listen to what he had to say in his press conference on Monday.
It's how you base moving forward. Every Sunday you look at that, your personnel, how you think you want to play. Injuries play a part, and how those reps are divvied up. When you finish the season, there's a baseline of this is who he is, this is where he's at. Man, there's a long journey before you get back on the field for a game, and I call it a journey a lot. You guys hear me say that, but it really is, man. Like, there's such a difference from year to year with players. You have to let them, you have a real meeting of this is who you've been. Here's how you have to change on and off the field, in the weight room, to become the player that you want to and the player that we need you to be. But you got to let them go through that process too, and you got to evaluate young people for who they are today, not who they were yesterday.
I love those quotes from Josh Heupel talking about player development and who you are today versus who you were yesterday. And he's talking a lot about the offseason, the identity of this football team, the identity of each and every player. And, you guys want to go back, you want to talk about Austin Peay. We've got to focus on Connecticut. We can't look ahead to Missouri. Guys, it does not matter what we as fans focus on. It has zero impact on the game. I think this is a glorified scrimmage because it is a glorified scrimmage. The Austin Peay game was a glorified scrimmage. Tennessee forgot to show up for the scrimmage. That's the truth. That's the reality. But when you talk about growth, and I love that Josh Heupel, a lot of people like to use the phrase, really good football teams grow the most between week 1 and week 2. And every single season that Josh Heupel's been at Tennessee, when you're in between week 1 and week 2, he's asked that question, and he always answers the same. He says, I think good football teams get better every single week, and not just during one period of the year. But you go back to that Austin Peay game. That you're coming off of a pretty big win over Virginia. You handled business in that game. You limped your way through a victory over Austin Peay. Then you go down to the Swamp and you get beat. How do you respond? How do you bounce back? How do you respond to that adversity? Well, I think they responded pretty well with a big win over UTSA, 45-14. Moving forward from there, you beat South Carolina, 41-20, and you see a theme throughout the course of this. Everybody talking about South Carolina, everybody talking about Spencer Rattler, how they're going to go out and take care of business against Tennessee. Tennessee beats them by 3 touchdowns. Then the next week against Texas A&M, you're finding your identity as a football team. You're finding ways to win games when your offense doesn't show up. Tennessee won that football game on defense and special teams. You pin them inside the one. D. Williams downs the football inside the one. Tennessee's defense comes out, gets a 3-and-out. D. Williams returns the punt for a touchdown, and Tennessee escapes with a win. You lost at Alabama. You bounce back against Kentucky, win 33-27. Again, a game where your defense was struggling. Your defense was not playing good football. You were making Leary look like a Heisman Trophy candidate, but you found a way to win. You leaned on your offense late in that game. Dylan Sampson comes in, gives you a little something, goes down, punches one in from 12 yards. Then you need a drive at the end of the game to finish off the game with the ball in your hands. Don't give Kentucky's offense a chance, and Tennessee does it. They go find a way to win. It's not always pretty. It's not always perfect. As Josh Heupel says, it ain't got to be. Tennessee's sitting at 6-2. They're finding ways to win. They're finding their identity, and I think their biggest identity is running the football. You look at the screen right now. You see Tennessee sitting at 6-2. UConn sitting at 1-7 on the year. Tennessee is a 36-point favorite. This is a glorified scrimmage. We are going to see a whole lot of Nico in the second half. Mark my words. I said it here first. If I'm wrong, feel free to come back and tell me I'm an idiot. That's what I get for saying it's a scrimmage. UConn is a bad football team, and the matchup that sets up the best. Some of you guys were talking about it last night on the NCAA stream. You're going to see a whole lot of running the football. Connecticut is 97th in the country with rushing defense, giving up 167 yards per game on the ground. Counter that with one of the best rushing attacks in the country, leading the SEC in rushing yards per game. Tennessee is going to use Jalen Wright. They're going to use Jabari Small. They're going to use Dylan Sampson, and they are going to run it down Connecticut's throat. Now, I hope when Nico gets in the game, because I do think we're going to see Nico. I think he's going to get an opportunity to come out and play some football, some actual valuable reps in this second half. I hope they let him come out, run the offense, throw the football around. He deserves that opportunity. That's how you grow. That's how you develop. I saw some people on Facebook saying, no, you can do that during spring camp. We got to figure out Joe Milton. Joe Milton's a 6-year senior. If he ain't figured it out by now, he ain't going to figure it out. We need to get Nico ready for 2024 when the opportunity presents itself, and we've not had that opportunity very much this year. Very little opportunities for Nico. So I think Tennessee goes out, they take care of business on Saturday, and then things get real. You look at those last 3 games of the season, you're talking about a team that could be 8-4 or a team that could be 10-2. Sit down, look yourself in the mirror. How would you respond? How would you respond to year 3 of the Josh Heupel era if they finish this thing off 8-4? Then how would you respond if they finish this thing off with wins on the road against Missouri, wins in Neyland Stadium against Georgia, and a win over our little stepson Vanderbilt? I think you would be pretty dang happy at 10-2. A lot of people are doom and gloom. They would look back at that Florida game and say, what could have been, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'd be pretty dang happy with back-to-back 10-win seasons under Josh Heupel. Tennessee football is back, and as I start to look ahead at the rest of this schedule, I look at that Missouri game. No line out yet. ESPN FBI has Tennessee at a 56% chance of beating Missouri. It is on the road. How does Tennessee handle that road environment? They went on the road and beat Kentucky. Hopefully that silences some people. I don't think the road really impacted the loss at Alabama. I think Alabama just beat Tennessee, along with some help from their friends. But when you look at Missouri, that's where this thing starts. Going on the road to play Missouri, and yes, they're sitting at 7-1 on the season, ranked 12th in the top 15. They got a pretty big game coming up on Saturday, boys. They go on the road to play Georgia. That's the interesting thing. The next 2 weeks, Tennessee plays Connecticut, then they play Missouri, then they play Georgia. We get to see a preview for Missouri and Georgia coming up on Saturday, 3:30 CBS. We're going to get a look at what both of those football teams look like, and I think Missouri is about to get exposed because when you look, yeah, they've only lost one game. That loss coming to LSU, 49-39. You look at common opponents. They beat Kentucky 38-21, beat South Carolina 34-12. Seemed pretty even with Tennessee. Outside of that, don't really have a whole lot of impressive wins. They did have a win over Kansas State in week 3, 30-27. That's a top 15 program right now. But I think Tennessee has a chance to go beat Missouri on the road. You look at their numbers, very, very eerily, easy for me to say, eerily similar. Total yards per game, Tennessee 443.5, Missouri 443. Yards allowed, Tennessee 327.5, Missouri 338. Very, very similar. Both pretty good against the run. Missouri's going to want to throw the football. Tennessee's going to want to run the football. It's going to be an interesting matchup. But the bottom line is we're skipping ahead because this is a glorified scrimmage coming up on Saturday. I think Tennessee's going to take care of business. We'll get into our official predictions later tonight on the live stream. Hope to see you guys live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But that is going to do it for this one. Smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about this thing. Am I overlooking Connecticut? Are you worried because I'm not focused? Are you worried because I'm not dialed in? As long as Josh Eibel and his football team's dialed in, that's all that matters. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.